Udell spent years combining the world of art with corporate business, and by using the healing powers of art, her teachings have inspired and taken corporate America by storm. However, it wasn't until she was told that she only had 6 months to live that she truly realized the meaning of her teachings. Lori, less than 2 years ago, you were raising your 2 boys, single mom, just lost your mom to cancer, and then you found out that you were sick. Take us back to when you were diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer.
Truthfully, I was shocked. I was one of those people that everybody thought it's this healthy lifestyle. I had noticed after Mom died that emotionally I was number. You know, I was just, when I got stressed, it lasted a little longer, went a little deeper. But outside of that, I was fine. And I had just a few symptoms. They thought I had early menopause. And that was it.
Yeah, your stomach was upset, you said, and you thought
had a little bit of bloating, but yeah, they thought I had a parasite from traveling out of the country, but that was it. So when I got the news that, you know, it was stage 4, spread to the liver, badly spread to the liver, it was just shock. I remember a fog. You know, it was just whirling to doctors' second opinions. Right. And then vividly, I remember once we decided the treatment course, we were going to do chemotherapy and then surgery, which was a little controversial. I was driving home and I had to tell my boys.
Right. I want to talk about that because that to me would seem like the hardest thing, would be sitting down with your 2 boys because the doctors had told you that you go home and prepare them because you might only have 6 months to live. How did you talk to them? I mean, what did you say?
It was particularly difficult because everybody in their life that was close to them had died of cancer. So this was going to be a tough conversation. And I think for me, the realization that the numbness had kind of shifted to panic and fear was the fact that, you know, I thought my parents would be around to see them for their high school graduation, and now I might not. Right. So putting them, pulling them in, sitting on the sofa to talk with them was a very, very tough day. Tough day.
But that was also a day that you decided that you weren't gonna let this happen. Talk about that. I'm gonna share with the audience that I'm a very close friend of yours, so it does touch me, because at the same time I was going through this with you too. But you decided that you were not going to let this take you down.
Absolutely.
How did you do that?
For whatever reason, after the boys got up and left and were kind of stunned, a picture of the Indian medicine wheel, as crazy as that can sound, came to mind. And the idea of medicine wheels are stone rocks on the ground, and they're like a compass, and every direction represents either mind, body, spirit, or emotions. And I knew at that point in time that I needed to do everything I could while the doctors worked on the cancer and the chemotherapy killed the cancer cells. What could I do? Mind, body, spirit, and emotions. So that I was going to be at that high school graduation, because truly at that point, that was even the fight just to make it through the next year, let alone the next 20 years with it. So I really decided at that point, what could I do from every facet? So I started with the body, you know, making the decision to do chemotherapy, changing my diet organically, changing my environment. I knew my 101 on cancer, you know, when you get this news, you start to educate and Google everything. It was that we all have cancer cells, but for some of us, our immune system gets depressed and the cancer cells take over. So while the chemo would attack that, I had to do everything I could to boost that immune system. So I explored with reflexology, craniosacral therapy, a naturopathic physician to supplement with nutrients, all while consulting with my oncologist. But all the body things that I did, I knew still wasn't enough. And even though I had the loving support of friends and my community, regardless of all of that, cancer is a very private and personal journey.
And that's what I want to move on to, which I feel is so important. You told me at one point that this cancer was a gift to you, that this was more than just a physical disease. Emotionally, you healed, and you feel like that is what helped you heal, because less than 5 months later, you're told you're cancer-free.
Yeah, which the doctors still to this day, I recently got rechecked with things, and they weren't familiar with my case, and he was just, this is amazing. They pulled their nurses in. It's like, this just doesn't happen, not with stage 4, not with colon,
right,
that you had. A lot of it has to do with that mind portion. A couple things. I think we spend so much time in our lives busy, distracted. We forget who and what we're about. We expend all this energy on the external things in our lives versus what's inward. And I learned early on, I was very blessed, that the arts take you inward.
Right.
The arts allow you to rediscover your brilliance, your truths, your passions. What I didn't realize is that they also help facilitate healing in your body. So that was a huge wake-up call. So one of the things I think that maybe is a good example of the ability of the mind and this whole approach towards healing were visualizations. I would use my art of drawing, I would use music, and I would go visit my cancer. A good friend showed me a couple techniques and how to connect that external world to kind of the internal world, and I drew on cards, I choose life. When I would go and visualize and put my music on, I would picture writing those cards in my mind, and I would go visit my cancer. And it would be, you know, knocking on the door, kind of dialoguing, not knowing what it would say, and then I would hand the card and walk away. And each time I would visit the cancer, which was this big, tall, 10-foot, you know, scary-looking thing, got smaller and smaller until the week before my chemotherapy, I opened the door, and all that was there were all the cards on the floor, and the cancer was gone. You know, and I knew inside that was it. It was over.
And now you're helping others through your arts and healing. And I just want to sum everything up. I wish I had more time. I thank you for sharing your story, but you told me one thing that sticks with me every day, and it's that you never know what you're going to be faced with next month, if you're going to be here next month or next year. So you take everything that is put in front of you just for that day.
What would I do today if I couldn't fail?
And what would I do today if I couldn't fail and you're not attached to the outcomes or the fear anymore? So thank you for sharing your story and touching other people's lives. Lori has developed a program called Art Expanse that has created opportunities for others to look inside their hearts and minds so that they too can heal and improve their personal well-being. She's not only an inspiration to me, but to many people that whose lives she has touched through her amazing journey. She's a beautiful angel that walks this world with purpose, love, courage, and grace. If you have a story of courage and grace that you'd like to share, then visit our website at studio10.tv. Inside our Courage and Grace story, you'll find a link for our email. We'll be right back with more Studio 10. Don't go away.
This segment was brought to you by Thomasville Furniture.